Welcome everyone inside the natatorium here at Orange High School for day 3 of 4 of the CVC Conference Championships for swimming and diving. I am your host today, Kevin Arnold, inside perched up atop the pool as the timers get themselves situated behind the blocks to get this event started. We are sponsored today by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. You want to reach out to them, Drs. Keith Schneider, Don Lewis, who is also the commissioner of the conference as well, so I know he will be tuned in to this event as well. Jill Weber and Jacqueline Tomsick. Their specialties include dental surgery, implants, corrective jaw and facial surgery, and trauma reconstruction. For all of your oral surgery needs, visit the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery website at www.08surgery.com. That's 08surgery.com. We want to thank them for their support of the Chagrin Valley Conference. Thank everyone who is tuning in today to support these student-athletes and everything going on this season. The swimmers, these athletes today, I know, are excited to be able to have a swimming season this year. There were question marks about some of these indoor winter sports, but they were all able to find a way in this new era we all find ourselves in to still get out here in the pool, swim for their school, and follow one of their many passions that I know a lot of these student athletes have in life. We are going to get things started here in just a moment with the girls side of things. We have 4 teams from the Chagrin Division here with us today, and the boys will swim starting around 7:30 tonight as well. But this afternoon, we will have Ashtabula Lakeside, Geneva, West Geauga, and the host, Orange High School, as part of this program. And the rest of the schools in the CVC amongst the Chagrin and Valley Division are all split up. The first event is going to be event number 1. That is going to be the girls' 200-yard medley relay. And as you look out across the pool, those maybe tuning in today not familiar with the sport of swimming, during the winter months, they do go in based on yardage. You may hear during the Summer Olympics that they're swimming in a big 50-meter pool. Well, a lot of times in the winter months, they are swimming based on yardage, and this is a 25-yard pool. So when we say 200-yard individual medley relay, it is a total of 8 laps. Every 100 yards is 4 laps of the pool. It is they are getting the athletes situated behind, of course, changing the process in COVID-19 era. You can only have the swimmers involved in the current event behind the blocks. You can't have people in waiting to get the event started. And of course, usually you would have girls then boys, but we are going to have 2 heats of this 200-yard medley relay. Each swimmer in this relay of the 4 is going to swim 2 laps. They're going to start with backstroke. And we are off here as in lane, looking across here, just trying to get our lanes here as we are up atop the pool here. Lakeside is in lane 2. No names listed for their relay team today. Geneva is in lane 3. We have Katie Mirabel in the pool first. Angelica Brown will be next, followed by Nia Gribbins, and the anchor is McKenna Cinco swimming the freestyle. And in lane 4, we have West Geauga. Peyton Trentinelli started off with the backstroke. Lillian Meyer will be next, followed by Lauren Keck and Lilia Hornbeck. As looks like West G and Geneva getting their swimmers in Geneva out front. So Angelica Brown leading for Geneva right now in heat number 1 of 2, followed closely behind by Lillian Meyer. And like I said, in the medley relay, you may see the individual medley later on. That usually starts with the butterfly, but in the relay, they start the swimmer that's swimming the backstroke in the pool to start the event, and then they move to the breaststroke, the fly, and the freestyle. So jumping in the pool, off the starting blocks for Geneva now with the butterfly, Nia Gribbins extending that lead as she heads down to the far end of the pool. West Geauga now in the pool as well. And Lakeside on the far side there in lane number 2, as we don't have names for their relay team into our heat sheets, so we apologize. Anybody tuning in, rooting for Lakeside today. We do have some of their information in the heat sheets, but not all of their relays were turned in time for the heat sheets before the meet started. Geneva out to a strong start as their final swimmer, McKenna Cinco, 50 yards of freestyle, as they have just passed the 2-minute mark in the pool for this relay race. They're trying to set the best time they can because they have another heat of swimmers to go. As she takes that flip turn on the far end, and she is coasting her way to home to win this one, as West Geauga following closely behind. Lilia Hornbeck putting in that kick, trying to finish strong for her squad as well. And Lakeside just getting in the pool for their freestyle to set their time and try to get as many points for their school as possible in these CVC championships. So a nice swim there by Geneva, but it did look like we had a disqualification, as they have the letter D up on the board for their placing, or actually Lakeside, that is going to be disqualified in this event. There may have been a poor turn. These officials on the side of the pool are going to be looking for, especially in the backstroke, they're going to be looking for how long it takes from your flip turn, or from your turn over to your stomach, from your back to the flip turn, and also in some of the other events like butterfly breaststroke. You have to keep your feet together, and you can't give those butterfly kicks in other events as well. And so they are looking for all those little things, possible disqualifications. So we have Heat 2 going in the pool. As the official will tell them to relax, as we will be courteous throughout the evening today, as they do want as much silence as possible. Of course, it's unfortunate that spectators can't be here, but we're going to try to bring you all the action here this afternoon. And good start by all four squads here in heat number 2. Lane 2, we have Lakeside once again. And in lane 3 and 5, we have 2 relay teams put in by Orange, the host, and then West Geauga has their second relay team in this event. In lane number 3, Katie Hollington starting things off for a squad of Orange's relay team. Then Nina Deshpande, Lilia Klingsmith, and Anna Klingsmith will finish it up for them, as Orange is off to a fast start out there in lane number 3. West Geauga with their squad in the pool right now. Ashley Chase, who is surely chasing down Nina Deshpande in the breaststroke, as they are turning for home to pass it off to their teammate. So for West Geauga, Asa Eddy actually started this relay off, then Ashley Chase finishing things up. Then Caitlin Chase will enter the pool. Rebecca Whitmer will finish things off for them. And the final relay team in the pool right now, Orange. It was Joy Utek starting things off. Evelyn Campbell touching the wall, allowing Sydney Golovan to enter the pool for her butterfly round. And then Emma Kozak will finish things up with freestyle. Orange in lane number 3, strong kick there in the butterfly to open up some space between them and West Geauga's second relay team in this event. Strong butterfly round there by Lilia Klingsmith, and she hands it off to Anna Klingsmith. Flip turns and on her way for home, as West Geauga Rebecca Whitmer is flip turning and coming on to the finish as well. And a strong race for third going on in lane number 2 and lane number 5 between Lakeside and Orange's B squad. And lane number 3, with a time of 2 minutes and 27 seconds, will take this one. West Geauga comes in, touching the wall, touching that touchpad at 2:10.99. And the race for third will go to Orange's second squad in lane number 5, 2:18.59. 2 minutes, 18 seconds, and 59 hundredths of a second is how the timing will be given throughout the afternoon.
Event 3, girls 200 yard freestyle, heat 1 of 3.
Now they are going to try to move through these events as quickly as possible. Again, we do not have any boys events until later on. They will do all of theirs together later as well. So the event coming in the pool now will be the 200-yard freestyle. And there will be 8 laps of the pool, all done by the individual swimmers. We got started with a relay. Now we get into some of those individual events. We are going to have 3 heats here, and we have 3 swimmers starting things off. In lane number 2, on the far side of the pool, away from the camera feed that you are viewing here on ChagrinValleyConference.com. And thank you so much for tuning in once again. That's Emma Bartlett of West Geauga. Then we have Abigail Toggle in lane number 3 from Geneva, and West Geauga with their second swimmer, Alyssa Mobley. Looks like we got a couple sophomores in the pool from West Geauga. She is in lane number 4, and this is the kind of event where it's 8 laps done by one swimmer. You're going to look in the beginning, the first 100 yards, those first 4 laps, they're going to look to stretch it out, try to use that conditioning that these coaches have done a great job with these student athletes all season long. Try to stretch it out, and as the last 4 laps start to kick in, you're going to see a much quicker charge into each wall. You're going to see that water splashing up behind them as they kick it in, and you're going to see a lot less breaths taken, as it's always one stroke to the side to get your breath, one stroke down into the water. And right now they're all 3 swimmers doing a great job of kind of just pacing themselves through this race and not trying to use up too much of that air just yet. And then they'll start to kind of take less breaths as they kick it in and focus really hard on that stroke and that kick behind them to get the best time possible, because they know they have 2 other heats that they have to set the precedent for coming in. Out in front right now, lane number 4, Alyssa Mobley, as she has started to kind of kick it in a little bit here. Second in this heat will be in lane number 2, Emma Bartlett. And coaches down below for West Geauga, as those swimmers look to their side, look to their team bench area that they have provided here in the natatorium, trying to get their swimmers to put that kick in to finish this race. As one final flip turn, and we should be coming for home here for Alyssa. Followed closely behind by her teammate, Emma Bartlett, there in lane number 2. And Abigail Toggle, like we said, from Geneva, finishing this her race up as well. As we look at the times, based on the way that they kind of came in seed time-wise, lane number 4, Alyssa Mobley, she came in with a time of 3:06.94 as a seed time. Not sure what her personal best is, but the coaches kind of average out how you've done throughout the season to give your seed time, so you figure out which heat that you're in. Well, she bested her seed time and got in under 3 minutes, which is a great 200-yard freestyle race at 2:58.64. Her teammate Emma Bartlett at 3:03.99, and for Geneva, Abigail Toggle was at 3:15.53. So they'll be watching the board closely after this race. So heat number 2 in the pool for event number 3. Lane 3, Katie Maribel. Anya Shevchik of Lakeside is in lane number 4. Hannah Wolfong, Lakeside as well. And their fellow teammate, 3 Lakeside swimmers in the pool now. Erica Housel in the pool in lane number 6 in the close lane. In that far lane in lane number 2, looks like McKenna Cinco is in the pool. As we only have 5 of the 6 swimmers we were looking at here. Callie Boardwine of Lakeside not in the pool. Kind of listen to the announcer on the next race and see if they may have changed some of the heats around. Sometimes that can happen based on the swimmers that you bring to the race. And right there in the middle of the pool is where that race is going to be. They're going to use each other's draft, the waves, to try to play off one another in the pool to help with their race, help with their pacing. As we said, that those first 4 laps, you really want to pace yourself out. You might see them stride their arms out a little bit longer, and then they'll get it short and choppy as they sprint for home those last couple laps. And it is a close race between Geneva's Katie Maribel and Hannah Wolfong in lane 3 and 5. And Anya Shevchik of Lakeside as well is keeping pace with all of them. And out there in lane number 2, McKenna Cinco, she's kind of eyeing up the race a little bit, kind of eyeing up their competition, waiting for one person to make that first big move in this heat. And you're going to see all of these swimmers follow right behind. And Erica Housel as well here in lane 6. You're going to see them all kind of play off one another and look for this final kick. As we come down to the last 50 yards, you see that sprint start to kick in as soon as they flip turn down there on the far end. Look for all of them to kick off the wall. Also can depend on how good you can be underwater, how long you can hold that streamline, getting your legs going to kind of stride it out. And then once you come up, you get those arms going as we have a close race here. 3 and 4 between Maribel and Shevchik as she's made a move to finish this one strong and touches that pad with authority. And you see already setting a best time in this event. 2:37.24 for Shevchik. And lane number 3, Maribel with 2:38.20. Her teammate, who was kind of out front for a little while, Hannah Wolfong, came in with a respectful and a great third place, 2:41.11. McKenna Cinco at 2:42.42. And finishing strong as well for Lakeside, having 3 swimmers in this event. Erica Housel, 3:08.88. So great times being put up. And this final heat 3 of 3, is going to have a tough act to follow for sure. So we'll allow the starter to get this heat in, and we'll give you the names of all 6 of these athletes in just one moment. And a fair start by all 6 swimmers. They're using all 6 lanes. First time we have seen that today. And lane number 1, Asa Eddy of West Geauga, senior for West G. Nina Gispandi in lane number 2. So you're going to see a lot of the same names, and they're going to come up quick too. They don't get as much of that rest time, but I'm sure these coaches have prepared them well. She is in lane number 2 for Orange. Ashley Chase from West Geauga in lane number 3, a sophomore junior for them. Lilia Klingsmith of Orange in lane number 4. Sydney Golovan in lane number 5 for Orange, and finishing it off here in the close lane number 6. So again, it'll go 1 through 6, far to near lanes as you look across your TV or device screen. Lauren Stark of Geneva in lane number 6. And Lily Klingensmith is got a strong first 100 in the books as she turns for the second half of her race. And you can see the intensity. Those first 2 heats really put a emphasis on getting out to a faster start. I know these swimmers wanted to kind of stride it out a little bit more, pace themselves a little bit more, but the benchmark was set and they want to finish strong. As it's Klingensmith up against Ashley Chase in this heat right here, as Klingensmith has got that sprint in, and kind of the advantage right now to Ashley Chase as she is able to breathe to both sides, kind of able to keep an eye on both swimmers to either side. But now Klingensmith has been out in front for most of this race, and she is going to finish this one strong. And you see the difference in time. Breaking 2 minutes. That is a heck of a 200-yard freestyle in high school. 1:59.82 for Lily Klingensmith. Seed time of 2:03.99 So might be a personal best for her. Like I said, the seed time is more of an average, not necessarily based on that personal best, but to break 2 minutes, especially under these circumstances and racing with so many races so close together, that is a phenomenal swim for her. Coming in second, Ashley Chase, 2:03.62, and Nia Deshpande, 2:08.37. So you saw a lot of best times here in this race. Lane number 5, Cindy Golovan finished 4th, 2:19.78. Asa Eddy, 2:22.04, and then Lauren Stark, 2:36.68. Strong swims there. So in the pool now, heat 1 of 2 of event number 5. Now again, if you're just tuning in, event numbers will be all odd numbers, at least for this first session, it'll just be the girls. The boys will have all the even numbers. So you're wondering why you've only seen, this is only the third event you're seeing, but it's event number 5. Again, usually the boys would go right after, but the protocols they have to follow, they're making sure that everything is followed to a T here at Orange High School to give every single one of these student athletes the best opportunity to win a conference championship, individual and team title here today. So in lane number 2 for this individual medley, for this 200-yard individual medley, is Isabel Isko from Lakeside. Lane number 3 out in front right now, Grace Golofsak. And in lane number 4, Ollie Kiphart is in second place right now. So 2 Lakeside swimmers and a Geneva swimmer in the pool right now. And they will swim 2 laps of each individual discipline of the sport of swimming. They started out with 2 laps of butterfly, switching over to 2 laps right now of backstroke. And as Golofsak comes into the wall, she will turn. Can't do a traditional flip turn from back to breaststroke, but a good pull out there underwater, a great way to extend her lead in this heat. And she is on her way as Lakeside comes in lane 2 and 4. They are off on their breaststroke laps as well. And the key here in breaststroke is to try to get you almost look like a frog in the water. You want to get as long of arms as possible, and that frog kick behind you, you really want that to generate your speed in the pool. And as you pull yourself up out of the water to get that breath, you allow those legs to push you forward as that head dips back in, and you don't want too much time in between each stroke either. The longer you make it, sometimes that can wear you out a lot sooner. So as you kick it in for this last 2 laps of freestyle, you really need that energy because you've had to exhaust almost all of your conditioning in one event because you have to go through every single discipline of swimming in this event. So Golofsak turns on the other end in lane number 3, on her way from home to set the benchmark here in heat 1 of 2. Followed closely behind by Ollie Kiphart of Lakeside and Isabella Isko on her freestyle as well.
The winner of the heat in lane 3, Grace Golofsak from Geneva.
Grace Golofsak finishing strong with a time in lane number 3 of 3 minutes and 20 hundredths of a second. So a strong swim there, almost cracking the 3-minute mark, which is, again, for these student athletes going event to event to event and having to swim every single stroke of the sport in one event. That is one heck of a swim. Another strong swim from Kiphart in lane number 4, 3:15.49. And finishing her swim in lane number 2, strong as well, Isabel Isko at a time of 3:40.17. So, again, we will turn it over to the starter to get the next heat 2, on the blocks, allow them to get things started, to keep things quiet for the student athletes, and get you the names and some commentary in just one moment.
Lane 2, Joy Utek from Orange.
So, fair start by all four swimmers. Joy Utek of Orange in lane number 2. Caitlin Chase, lane number 3. West Geauga. Lauren Keck of West Geauga in lane number 4. And Evelyn Campbell of Orange. So it's Orange versus West G in this heat. Trying to best the time of 3 minutes and 20 hundredths of a second set by Grace Golovsek of Geneva in that first heat here in heat number 2. And again, thank you to everybody that is tuning in, whether family, friends, students, staff of each one of these CVC member schools, Geneva, Lakeside, West Geauga, and Orange. This is Chagrin Valley Conference Television, CVC TV's production of Day 3 of 4 of the conference championships. Girls right now in the pool, boys will be later, and we are being sponsored today. And we want to thank our sponsors throughout the day at the Ohio Center for Oral Facial and Implant Surgery. They did a lot to get a lot of the football and some of the soccer and volleyball and all the fall sports going so that people from home can watch safely. And just like that, we're trying to do that here for as many sports as possible here in the winter months as we go through the months of January and February. So thank you so much to the Ohio Center for Oral Facial and Implant Surgery. If you want to reach out to them, their practice will diagnose and treat your facial pain and injuries, also offer a full range of dental implants and bone grafting procedures. Look no further than the Ohio Center for Oral Facial and Implant Surgery for all your oral surgery and cosmetic surgery needs. Again, that website to visit to reach out to them is www.ohsurgery.com, www.ohsurgery.com. So as we are on the final lap of the breaststroke, the third leg of this individual medley, turning for home out there in lane number 2, Joy Utek has been in charge from the beginning, but followed closely behind, trying to use that draft into her lane from West Geauga, Caitlin Chase, as Utek will turn and burn for home. Caitlin Chase is on her way to the finish line as well. And here in lane number 5, Evelyn Campbell trying to chase them down. And Lauren Keck put in a strong swim as well. But almost end to end in this race, in this heat, Joy Utek will take first with a time of 2:42.01. Lane number 3, Caitlin Chase, strong time of 2:47.13. And looking up on the board there, looks like we have lane number 5, Evelyn Campbell, 2:51.95, but a possible disqualification that they will look back at and they will review before making that official determination. An unofficial disqualification, unofficial third in that race. And then finishing it up, Lauren Keck at a 2:53.51 in that race. So we'll move on to Event 7, the girls' 50-yard freestyle. 2 strong laps of the pool here, so this is going to go quick. And not a lot of breaths are going to be taken. You're going to see those heads stay in the water as much as possible, especially as they turn and come for home. And usually these races are tight, close, and it comes down to sometimes who can out-touch the other on that touchpad just down inside the pool. If you can kind of see that black bar across the top of each of the lanes. That is the touchpad they're aiming for. In lane number 4 is the heat winner, Ace Berzinkas. Then in lane number 3, coming in close second, Lauren Brooks. And then Cassie Bumgardner very close behind as well in lane number 2. As looking at the times up here on the board, lane number 4, 38.02, 38 seconds, 200ths of a second. Lane 3, 38.38, and lane number 3, 41.27. This will be heat 2 of 3. as the starter looks for the swimmer supposed to be in lane number 4, but does not look like they are here. So 5 swimmers in the pool now. We'll get you these names quickly because this race will go quick. Evie Nadzan, Geneva. Lane 2, Mag Vash of West Yaga. Lane 3, Rebecca Whitmer, West Yaga. Lane 5, Amber Ford of Orange. And lane 6, Mary Kate Ducrow in lane number 6 of Lakeside. And in heat number 2, it'll be Rebecca Whitmer just out touching Evie Nadzan in lane number 1 with a time of, looks like 32:03. So a strong swim there, setting the benchmark for these last 6 swimmers. Strong race there, and well done by Rebecca Whitmer.
Heat 3, final heat. Lane 1, Nia Gribbons from Geneva. Lane 2,
So in heat number 3, we got Nia Gribbons of Geneva, lane number 1, and Angelina Brown of Geneva as well in lane number 2. Athena Pantoja of Lakeside in lane number 3. Anna Klinging-Smith of Orange in lane number 4. Morgan Anderson, lane number 5 of Lakeside. And finishing off from Orange, Emma Kozak. And we got a dead race here. It's going to come down to who touched first. Anna Klinging-Smith out touching in lane number 3, Athena Pantoja. 27:05 for Klinging-Smith. 27:26 for Pantoja, and third place time of 27:94. That went to Angelina Brown of Geneva. So strong swims all across the board there, as it looks like we will have a short break before we start rolling through a few more events, just to give some of these swimmers a little bit of a breather as much as they can, because you may have heard a lot of the same names in a lot of these events. But as you kind of look at it, all 4 of these schools have prepared their swimmers well today, and these races and these heat times are coming down to a matter of just seconds. And depending on how the schools from the Chagrin Division do in the other events, there is one more day of this conference championship tomorrow. They're trying to race each other, but race that clock as much as anything here today. So we will step aside for just a brief moment and come back as they get things reset here in the pool. You are watching Day 3 of the Chagrin Valley Conference Swimming Championships here on CVC TV, brought to you by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. And welcome back, everyone, inside Orange High School, here inside their natatorium for day 3 of the CVC Championships, as they, in the COVID-19 area, having to split things up across. We have 4 of the member schools of the Chagrin Division doing battle here today. Geneva, Ashtabula Lakeside, West Geauga, and Orange, who is the host here today. As we've already gone through 4 events today, we are moving on to event number 11. As you'll see the boys later on this evening, it is listed as event 11 in the heat sheet. The heat 1 of 2 of the girls' 100-yard butterfly, 4 laps of the pool, 1 singular stroke. In lane 2, we got Selena Perez of Lakeside, Peyton Trantinelli of West Geauga in lane number 3, and Anya Shevchik of Lakeside in lane number 4. Now, in this race, you won't see, is another race where you won't see a traditional flip turn. You must hit the wall on both ends with both hands. The officials must see you hit the wall with both hands before turning and pushing off with the feet. And as you're kicking behind you, the feet must stay together. You may see in the backstroke, even the breaststroke and the freestyle, where the legs come apart. In order not to disqualify in the event, the legs must kick together. Now, of course, the officials will be looking closely at it. There is some room, and they've kind of adjusted those rules over time. But for the most part throughout the race, your feet must stay together. And turning for home, we got a tight race here in heat number 1 between Peyton Trantinelli and Anya Shevchik. So West Geauga and Lakeside doing battle in this race, as they are coming for home. Just a few more strokes to the wall. You hear their teammates in the background cheering them on. Wish all of you out there, their cheering section, anybody tuning in today could be here cheering on each one of these swimmers, each one of these schools. But the heat winner in this one, those cheering from home into their device screens, TV screens, Peyton Trantinelli of West Geauga with a time of 1:32.38, closely followed behind Anya Shevchik, 1:32.79. And coming into the wall, Selena Perez will set a time of 1:58.89. All swimmers breaking 2 minutes. That is well done. I will, from experience as a swimmer up until the age of 14, 15 myself, I always cheer for the ones swimming butterfly. That was always the least favorite sport to swim. So heat 2 in the pool. Those that can swim butterfly, so many kudos to you. I can't give you enough kudos for swimming the stroke of butterfly. One of the hardest ones, one of the most difficult strokes in swimming, and you must be in tip-top shape, even more so if you're going to be a butterfly specialist, as they say. In the pool now, in lane number 2, Caitlin Chase of West Geauga. Lilia Klinging-Smith out in front. We've heard many of these names many times today, so these athletes are definitely well in shape. But Lily Klinging-Smith of Orange in lane number 3. Athena Pantoja of Lakeside in lane number 4. Sydney Golovan in lane number 5 of Orange. Klinging-Smith coming for home, about halfway home of the final lap. Eyeing that wall up and finishes strong with it almost breaking 1 minute. I know she was probably aiming to break 1 minute, but right there about the 1 minute mark, 1 minute and 87 hundredths of a second. Lane number 4 coming in second, Athena Pantoja, 1:05.79. And lane number 5, Sydney Golovan, 1:14.85. And in lane number 2, Caitlin Chase, 1:15.22. Strong swims for all 4 athletes in the pool. And again, if you end up seeing the timer during the meet, we will allow the starter to get them going first. So if you see the timing board throughout the meet today as you tune in, if there is the letter D next to a person's name, that is an unofficial disqualification. Again, it's something they need to go back and review before that determination is made. So we will not speculate or make that an official determination for these student athletes who are putting in a lot more effort than they are used to. But in this season, they knew what they had to do in order to have a swimming season, and they were all willing to go with whatever protocol was put in place. So as we switch here to freestyle event, a 100-yard freestyle event, event number 13, we will have 3 heats. The first heat is in the pool right now. Out there in lane number 2, Alyssa Downey of Lakeside. Lane number 3, Emma Bartlett of West Geauga. In the lead in lane number 4, Amber Ford of Orange, and Emily Shaw of Lakeside down here in lane number 5. So 4 quick laps of this 25-yard pool, and nice swim there for Amber Ford of Orange in the comforts of her home pool. A time of 1:17.95. Lane number 3, Emma Bartlett, 1:27.12. Followed by Emily Shaw at 1:29.82. And Alyssa Downey, 1:36.59. So the starter will call the next heat, heat 2 of 3 up to the blocks. And if you tune in throughout the evening tonight, we'll allow them to get things started and then give you all the names once they hit the pool. So 6 swimmers in the pool now in heat 2. Mary Kate Ducrow of Lakeside, lane number 1 in the far lane on your screen. Next to her, Tegan Gilbert of Geneva. Lane 3, Lauren Stark of Geneva. McKenna Cinco in lane number 4 of Geneva, so a strong Geneva contingent in this heat. And then 2 West Geauga swimmers to finish things out. Lilia Hornbeck in 5, and Lilia Hornbeck, in lane number 5, and Lillian Meyer, both of West Geauga, in lane number 6. And again, anybody tuning in, not whether familiar or not familiar with the sport of swimming, go through periodically throughout the night some of the nuances of the sport to kind of know what you're looking at as each of the races go into the pool. Other times we'll kind of allow the race, and especially some of the longer races, to just go, and we'll kind of give you the exciting call to some of these close finishes as the night goes on as well. So if you just hear the swimmers in the pool, don't worry. The sounds are still working here as we have a close finish here. It's going to come down to who touched, and we are 0.03 of a second difference to set the benchmark in this heat. 1:13.31 put in by Lauren Stark of Geneva in lane number 3, just out touching her teammate, McKenna Cinco, 1:13.34. That's how close these races can come down to. I'll call the final heat to the blocks and get them going. And we'll try to give you some of those other times if they keep them up on the board. As they do clear the board out, but we have another full pool here. Like I said, these races can come down to a matter of hundredths of a second. I'm reminded of a couple Olympics ago when the great Michael Phelps, the decorated Olympian, the most decorated Olympian in history, was able to win his specialty, the 100-meter butterfly, by just 1/100th of a second. And I believe that was the same year that he was able to beat Mark Spitz's record of gold medals with 8 gold medals in one Olympics. Some athletes, their one goal is to get 1 gold in Olympics, to get 8 in just 1, let alone a career, is a feat inside of itself for sure. And I know a lot of these athletes have grown up watching Michael Phelps and some of these young swimmers like Ryan Lochte and trying to emulate them here in the pool this evening. And heat winner in heat number 3, as go through the names here real quick. Heat lane number 1, Emma Kozak. Katie Hollington, lane number 2. Ashley Chase in lane number 3. Nina Jaspandy in lane number 4. Callie Boardwine in lane number 5. Grace Golovsak in lane number 6. And the heat winner with a time of 56.65. Lane number 3, Ashley Chase of West Geauga. 2 swimmers in that heat were able to break 1 minute. Second place, Nina Jaspandy with 59.18. So well done by both of those athletes in the pool. So we move on now to event number 15 with the 500-yard freestyle. Now, this will be 20 laps of the pool that you will see here. So we're just going to kind of let this race go on, keep you in touch. But just to get things going in heat number 1, there will be only 1 heat of this event. This is definitely an endurance event for those that, maybe more attuned to the sport of track and field. Those that run the mile, 2 mile, 15-kilometer type races. Those long races where you really need to pace yourself. 20 laps of the pool can really take its toll on yourself. And these athletes, student athletes, are well conditioned for that. In lane number 1 in this only heat of this event is Selena Perez of Lakeside. Liv E. DiStefano of West Geauga in lane number 2. Lauren Keck of West Geauga in lane number 3. And she is out front right now in this race early alongside Morgan Anderson in lane number 4 of Lakeside and Erica Housel in lane number 5, rounding things out. So it's a West Geauga Wolverine versus Ashtabula Lakeside Dragon event here in the 500-yard freestyle. And you'll see on the other end of the pool as the camera pans down on the far side from where they start, their fellow teammates, and usually you would have a bunch of teammates kind of cheering each one on, but right in this era, you're only going to get one. They have the board with the odd number of lap that they're on to help their teammate keep count. Because once you start going for a while in the pool, you can definitely lose count of where you're at. So to keep them focused, keep their mind sharp, teammates will hold those boards down in the pool before they flip turn to let them know exactly which lap they're on when they hit that wall, and keep count one by one as they tick off the 20 laps. As these athletes are in the pool right now, we will remind you and thank our sponsor once again. The presenting sponsor of CVC TV and all of the Chagrin Valley Conference athletic events is the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. The doctors in the office, Keith Snyder, Don Lewis, Jill Weber, and Jacqueline Tomsick, will specialize in dental surgery, implants, corrective jaw and facial surgery, as well as trauma reconstruction. We say it all the time, but for all your oral surgery needs, if you have been thinking about trying to find someone for maybe that issue you've been maybe having, that oral element, something painful in the mouth and your teeth, trust our fellow sponsor, the trusted doctors here at CVC TV over at the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Reach out to them at their website of oh8surgery.com. That is www.oh8surgery.com. Can't thank them enough for all of their support, for being able to live stream these events throughout the year and bring all of you inside the pool with us in a safe manner so that we can show the support that these student athletes all deserve, but also keep them safe to allow their seasons to continue. Now we've passed the halfway mark of this race. as the two out in front, lane 3 and 4. That is Lauren Keck of West Geauga and Morgan Anderson of Lakeside, respectively, doing battle in the middle of the pool. And usually that is where the battle is going to be won, is right there in the middle. That's the prime real estate. If you are a swimmer, or if you put your seed time in, you're always looking for what lane did I get. And if you see one of those middle lanes in any pool that you're in, you know that you're set up well. If you get one of those outer lanes, though, that just sharpens that mental toughness and tells you what more work you got to put in, because you can only control what you can control, as coaches will always tell their athletes. And you just go out there and you give it your best effort out there in the pool. And the results will speak for themselves. So Lauren Keck extending her lead from West Geauga as they turn for their last 100, their last 4 laps here in this only heat of the 500-yard freestyle for the girls. We will see this event come up once again in the evening session starting at 7:30 when the boys team members get their chance to jump in the pool later on here on CVC TV. And the official starter comes behind lane number 3 where Lauren Keck is swimming. Rings the bell for both her and Morgan Anderson to let them know that they are on their final lap. Final 2 laps of the pool as Lauren Keck kicks it in just a little bit. Continues a couple body lengths ahead of Morgan Anderson. She will turn and finish this race. As you see Morgan Anderson getting that encouragement from her teammate, holding the number board for her. As they don't have the number 19, when you get those red bars there, that means you're turning for your last lap. Lauren Keck bringing in strong to the wall, smacks the wall, and sets the time in this heat and only heat of 6:41.25. Morgan Anderson of Lakeside, 6:46.74. And got a couple more swimmers still in the pool. But for Lauren Keck, she will kind of be watching the times from the other schools in the Chagrin Division, times that have already been set on Saturday out at Beechwood, and the times that will be set tomorrow at Hawken, where Chagrin and Valley Division schools will be getting their chance to try to earn a conference championship for both themselves and the schools. Lauren Keck will hope that 6:41.25 here this evening in the 500-yard freestyle will hold up and put her in a great position to be a conference champion and move on to the postseason meets in a great, great seed time for sure. As Liv DiStefano comes in, West Geauga, 7:48.06. And a couple Lakeside swimmers still in the pool. And this is what you like to see, not just the Lakeside coaches and student athletes, but athletes from the other schools. You hear encouragement all across the board because this is not an easy event. There are only 5 swimmers. There are only 2 schools represented. So there's a lot of respect, a lot of sportsmanship that goes into, especially if you have the longest, if you are entered into the longest event of the program for the evening. Erica Housel here in the close lane in lane number 5, finishing strong, as she will hit the wall in a time of 8:46.35. And Selena Perez finishing her race strong as well. Takes those last couple strokes without taking a breath, and strong swim there for Selena Perez as she is able to get right around her seed time here this evening. And a great swim by all of the athletes there. And this one's going to be, we've already seen some of those athletes that were just in the pool. We've seen them in some shorter races, some sprint races this evening, and even some relays. So to have the endurance at this point of the meet to go through that, respect to all 5 of the swimmers in the pool as they get things, they allow the next event to go on. So event 17, we will switch over to what is going to be a lot more action in the pool here in the 200-yard freestyle relay. Each swimmer will be responsible for 2 laps of the full pool, 50 yards. In lane number 2, Lakeside. In lane number 3, Geneva. Their team consisting of Lauren Stark in the pool now. Evie Nadzan coming in, about to jump in the pool as we speak. Then she will be followed by Abigail Toggle, and Allison Higley will anchor that squad. In lane number 4, just jumping in the pool is Emma Bartlett. She was preceded by Lauren Brooks, and then Ace Berzinkus will be 3rd, and Peyton Trentinelli will be 4th for the West Geauga squad in Heat 1 of 2, this 200-yard freestyle. Nadzan of Geneva will touch the wall and hand things off to her teammate, Abigail Toggle, who will look to extend Geneva's lead early in Heat number 1. And again, our apologies to any supporters of Ashtabula Lakeside, as the program that we have been given, we do not have names listed for their relay swimmers, but we will try to, the best we can, acknowledge their efforts here in the pool and try to listen to the PA announcer here at Orange High School for who may be in the pool at each time. We'll do the best we can to show respect to all of those swimmers from Ashtabula Lakeside and the rest of the schools as well here today. Final swimmers in the pool here. Geneva coming in. Their anchor, Allison Higley, will try to sprint home for the win in this heat number 1 and make the swimmers in heat number 2 think about what they need to get accomplished as a unit to set the time. And looks like there's a malfunction with that touchpad as no time gets put up on the board there. So all teams kind of right around that 2-minute, 25-minute mark. And again, we have a 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and 72 hundredths of a second for Geneva in that race. Again, we have some of the disqualification indicators up on the board, but we will see if we get any official results to pass those along later on this evening. So Heat 2 of 2 is now in the pool. We have squads from Geneva, West Geauga, Lakeside, and Orange. So all 4 schools represented here in this heat. In lane number 2 for Geneva, starting things off, Katie Mirabel. She will be followed by Tegan Gilbert, Grace Golovsak, and Angelina Brown finishing things off. In lane number 3, Asa Eddy in the pool for the Wolverines, followed by Rebecca Whitmer, Caitlin Chase, and Ashley Chase. Lane number 4 is Lakeside, and lane number 5, the swimmers from Orange, Emma Kozak, Evelyn Campbell in the pool now, Amber Ford, and Sydney Golovan. As West Geauga and Orange do battle in this Heat 2, as they hand it off to their second swimmers, or their third swimmers, excuse me. Looks like Caitlin Chase and Amber Ford in the pool now for those 2 squads. Caitlin Chase, who's been having a strong meet for herself today, sets West Geauga up in great position to finish this one off. As just gliding across the top of the water, their anchor, Ashley Chase, barely taking a breath on that first lap. Quick flip turn, and she is on her way home. As she eyes up that wall, taking the last few strokes, no breaths at all, glides into the wall with a time of 1:56.12. A great swim by the squad from West Geauga and a great anchor leg put in by Ashley Chase. Coming in second was the team from Lakeside, followed by Orange and Geneva in lane number 2 on the far side of the screen. So we will, as swimmers get out from behind the block area, we will switch things over to event 19, girls 100-yard backstroke. As they will start things from inside the water, they will grasp onto that starter bar inside the pool, and we will have 3 heats of this event. Good start by all 3 swimmers. In lane number 2 in the far lane, Alyssa Downey of Lakeside. Lane number 3, Alyssa Mobley of West Geauga. And a fellow swimmer from Lakeside in lane number 4, Cassidy Bumgardner. Key to swimming the backstroke, especially for just one entire event, or at least a couple laps, is to use those flags you see up above the pool. A lot of swimmers, what they will do, especially in practice, is as they are swimming into the wall, before they get into their flip turn, they will count how many strokes it takes from the flag to the wall, so they can count those out, and maybe one stroke earlier they know they need to turn over to their belly and then flip turn into the wall, kick off back to their back to finish the race or finish that next lap. And officials will be looking for how much time it takes from when they flip over from back to belly and then belly to flip turn. They are looking for how much time it takes to do that. You can't have too many seconds, if at all. But again, some of those rules have changed slightly, but you only want at most about a second of time. If you're having to kick yourself closer to the wall to do your flip turn, officials are going to see that, and unfortunately that disqualification moniker will be put up there on the board. So finishing here for West Geauga, the heat winner will be Alyssa Mobley of West Geauga, setting the time at 1:39.15. Here in lane 5 for Lakeside, Cassidy Bumgardner, time of 1:52.11. And for Alyssa Downey of Lakeside in the far lane will be 2 minutes and 61 hundredths of a second. Now, of course, you've kind of been seeing the swimmers of the previous race distancing themselves by staying in the pool until the next race is started off the block. But now with this race strictly starting from inside the pool, protocol has them get out before the next swimmer can get in the pool, and then the swimmers that just exited have to get out from behind the blocks to go back with their team and get their mask over their face. 5 swimmers in the pool for heat number 2 of the girls 100-yard backstroke. Abigail Toggle of Geneva in lane number 1. Isabel Isco of Lakeside in lane number 2. Hannah Wilfong of Lakeside as well, lane number 3. From Geneva, Tegan Gilbert in lane number 4, and Magvash rounding things out from West Geauga down here in lane number 5. Thank you again to everybody tuning in here this evening to kind of part A of day 3 of the Chagrin Valley Conference Championships for swimming and diving here at Orange High School. I want to remind everyone out there, if you're wondering how the scoring will take place or how they will figure out placements for the schools, it's going to be based on what time it says up on that board right across from us and across the way from where our cameras are situated here this evening. And want to thank Peter Tellup and cameraman Mike doing all of the grunt of the work behind the scenes, bringing the great pictures to you at home, making me sound as good as they possibly can, which I know can be a difficult job at times. But they will use those times and then look at the other 2 days of the swimming events, because day 1 was diving at Beechwood, and we'll get you those results here in just a little bit from Friday. But here in this heat winner with a time of 1 minute and 27 seconds flat was in lane 3, Hannah Wolfong of Lakeside. Like I said, they're going to put all these times together, and then these swimmers will find out later on how they stacked up against their fellow Chagrin Division opponents. So a full pool to finish things out in heat number 3. Lane 1, Joy Utek of Orange, Asa Eddy of West Geauga in lane 2, Anna Klingsmith of Orange in lane 3, swimming right next to her teammate Kitty Hollington of Orange as well in lane number 4, Nia Gribbins of Geneva in lane 5, and Peyton Trentinelli in lane number 6 from West Geauga. And coming down the stretch here, a close race in lane 3 and 4. It's going to come down to the touch or who can extend the most, as they both reach for the wall about the same time. And the battle between the Orange Lion teammates, Anna Klingsmith able to out-touch her teammate Katie Hollington with a time of 1:04.80 to take the heat winner here. And again, she'll be keeping close tabs and records on that time and seeing what was established by Edgewood on Saturday and from a couple other schools tomorrow at Hawken. Now, I know a few people have reached out already. Those wondering, the events at Hawken will be live streamed by Hawken themselves. They will have a stream for everybody there. So CVC TV will not be out there, but they will still be live streamed with no spectators allowed. They will still live stream the events tomorrow night. So we quickly move on to our next event, event 21, as we only have 2 more events to jump in the pool here. There's a total of 24 events here tonight, getting the first 12 from the girls here in the 4:30 time slot. So we are with the girls 100-yard breaststroke event number 21. Only 2 heats in this event. Lauren Brooks of West Geauga in lane 1, Liv E. DeStefano of West Geauga in lane number 2, Katie Mirabel in lane number 3 of Geneva, Allison Higley in lane 4, also of the Geneva Eagles, and finishing things out from the Lakeside Dragons, Emily Shaw. So 4 laps of breaststroke here in the pool. As we talked about earlier with the art of breaststroke, to be a breaststroke specialist, you got to have strong legs that can kind of push you further in the pool, and those arms as they come up, you really want a strong push out with those arms. You see the head kind of come up quickly and then dips right down, and those arms push out, and you want to skim right across the water, which you see perfect example of from the one in front in this event, in this heat, Katie Mirabel finishing strong setting the time in this event at this particular location at 1:31:34. Should be keeping a close eye on heat 2, but you really want to just skim right across the water. You don't want that head out of the water too long, and it's almost like it's a quick dip of the head. Get that frog kick behind you, push those arms out, quickly pull them up towards your body, and repeat that process as quick as you can and not having too much lag time in between. Final heat of this event is in the pool, and all lanes are occupied in this heat. Evie Nadzan of Geneva in lane 1, Lillian Meyer of West Geauga in lane 2, Angelina Brown in lane 3 representing Geneva, Ollie Kiphart of Lakeside in lane number 4, in lane number 5, Evelyn Campbell from Orange High School, and from West Geauga High School, Rebecca Whitmer down here in lane number 6. And already Angelina Brown off to a strong start in this one. And when you see them going underwater, before they come up for their first stroke on each lap, they're doing is what is called the pull out, trying to use that time underwater to maximize or basically minimize how many strokes they have to take above water, and trying to stretch out maybe a lead, use that underwater time to their advantage if they can have a long stride there on the pullout. But Angelina Brown, coast to coast in this one, wire to wire, if you like, a time of 1:17:50. And followed closely behind by Evelyn Campbell, 1:28:37, and in third place, they're down there in lane number 2 out of West Geauga High School, Lillian Meyer, 1:29:52. So strong swims across the board there in this final individual event of the first session, the girls portion of tonight's program here at the CVC Championships, presented by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. So we will move on to our final event of this program, and it will be a relay race as the girls' 400-yard freestyle relay. So it looks like Lakeside's B team in the pool now in lane number 2. Alyssa Downey is their opening swimmer. And in lane number 4, West Geauga's group of Mag Vash, Emma Bartlett, Ace Berzinkus, and Lauren Brooks. Their B squad is in the pool right now in heat number 2. Looks like Geneva's B squad not swimming in this event here this evening. So only 2 squads looking to set that time for the next heat. Contrary to the 200-yard freestyle relay, each swimmer must swim 4 laps of the pool before their round is done, and their teammate can dive into the pool off the blocks and put in their work rate for their team. As the second swimmers for each squad get in the pool in heat number 1, take one last opportunity to remind you and thank our sponsor here in the initial portion of our program. We will get back to thanking them again once the boys get in the pool later on, but the presenting sponsor of CVC TV is the Ohio Center for Orofacial and Implant Surgery. Their practice will diagnose and treat your facial pain, injuries, and also offer you a full range of dental implants along with bone grafting procedures. Tell you all night long to look no further than the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery for all those oral surgery and even cosmetic surgery needs. Visit their website for all their information at www.ohsurgery.com. That's www.ohsurgery.com. And as we hit the halfway point of heat number 1, West Geauga's B team out in front. Ace Berzinkus in the pool now for West Geauga. And Lakeside getting their third swimmer in the pool as we speak as well. Like we said, some of these longer races like this, we're going to put the attention, the focus on where it should be on the student athletes, allow you to enjoy, root from home as each event goes in the pool, so you don't have to hear my voice all the time talking over the tremendous work being put in by these athletes here in the conference championship edition of the 2020-2021 winter swimming seasons for all of these student athletes. So final swimmers in the pool now for both schools, for Lakeside and West Geauga. Lauren Brooks out in front for West Geauga as she turns for her final 2 laps of West Geauga's B squad. And Selena Perez, it looks like, in the pool for Lakeside as their anchor leg as well. And strong finish there for West Geauga as they will take heat number 1 with a cumulative time of 5 minutes, 53 seconds. And they go out to the 100s of the second to have any tie-breaking scenario. So 5:53.87 for West Geauga. And good swim for that squad here as they came in right around that seed time here this evening. And Selena Perez finishing her program and Lakeside's B Squad's program here tonight with a time of 6:23.74 down there in lane number 2. As we get set for heat 2 of 2, the final race of the girls' Day 3 CVC Championship event. Yeah.
2, Geneva's A team of Grace
And
Jello,
A teams in the pool for all four school.
Stark and Mia Gribbons. Lane 3, Orange's A team of Katie
Lane
Hollington,
2, Geneva,
Megan
Grace
Winstead,
Golovsek,
Katie
McKenna Cinco,
Sunday,
Lauren
and
Stark,
Lily
Nia Gribbins.
Winstead. Lane 4, Lakeside's A team of Allie Kiphart.
Lane 3, Katie Hollington, Anna Klingsmith, Nia Deshpandi, and Lily Klingsmith of Orange. Lakeside in lane number 4. And West Geauga finishing things out down here in lane number 5, Liv DeStefano, Lilia Hornbeck, Alyssa Mobley, Lauren Keck due up for West Geauga's A squad.
Observe all social distancing as much as you can. Thank you.
And Orange's A squad almost with a full lap advantage over the other relay teams in the pool. And second leg of the relay race for Orange in the pool now, looking to extend that lead. Anna Klingsmith. Klingsmith, a name we've heard all evening long. And Orange putting on a strong statement in the comforts of their own backyard here at Orange High School and the natatorium, home to the Orange Lions here in Pepper Pike, Ohio. As across the pool, Orange's coaching staff giving encouragement to Anna, who's in the pool, finishing up her leg of the race. She will hand things off here in just a moment to Nia Jaspandi for leg number 3. And they are trying to set a strong time for the rest of the Chagrin division to compete with in the final event, and making a statement to finish things out here this evening after so many of these student athletes have been back to back to back, etc., on and on and on events all night long. These athletes can see the finish line, and Orange is definitely trying to put their stamp on the 400-yard freestyle relay for the Chagrin division here at the conference championships. And Jaspandi will come into the wall, and the anchor leg will finish things off here for Orange. Lily Klingsmith will bring things home for the Orange Lady Lions here at home, as they are just about over 2-lap advantage in this relay race, but they know that they are racing against that clock off to their right so that they can send shockwaves throughout the Chagrin division of how the other schools are going to have to finish if they want any chance at a relay conference championship and more points for their squad to win a full team conference championship and go into the postseason tournaments with the utmost level of confidence and no trouble at all. Lily Klingsmith hits the wall at 4:03.77, a time that sure will send shockwaves and put the attention on tomorrow's Chagrin division opponents out at Hawken to put out some strong performances, as we've seen all across the board from the ladies from all 4 schools here this evening, as the rest of the anchor legs are in the pool. As we have a race coming down for second place in this heat to set another strong time. Lakeside versus Geneva coming on strong in lane number 2. See if she can outtouch her And Lakeside able to get that hand in first, just out of the outstretched arm of, looks like Nia Gribbins of Geneva down there in lane number 2, trying to charge hard for a second place in this heat. Lakeside with a time of 4:58.63 and Geneva 4:59.03. So only 0.4 of a second differentiating. And that's why these touch pads are down to the hundredths of a second. As soon as you touch, it gets you the most accurate time possible, and that's the best way to get the fair result possible. So Orange finishing things up at their home pool here in the 400-yard freestyle relay. You will see all 12 of these same events here later on, beginning at 7:30 this evening. As the boys get in the pool, they will give them some time to warm up and get out of the locker rooms to get in the pool. The girls will have to exit first, follow all protocols to keep these student athletes as safe as possible. Thank you again to the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. We'll be back in a little while, starting at 7:30 for the boys program of the Chagrin Conference Championships here at Orange High School. Kevin Arnold signing off until then. Thank you to Peter Tellup and cameraman Mike behind the scenes. We'll see you all in about an hour and a half. Until then, have a great evening, everybody. Welcome back inside the Aquatic Center here at Orange High School in Pepper Pike, Ohio. Kevin Arnold alongside you, and behind the scenes, Peter Tellup and cameraman Mike, bringing you today's part 2 of the third day of the Chagrin Valley Conference Championship swim meet with the representative schools from the Chagrin Division, the CVC. The boys program about to get going as they have the timers meeting across the pool on the far side. And the first event number 2 in the program, but the first event for the boys tonight, first of 12, will be the boys 200-yard medley relay. Those boys are, the first heat is ready to go behind the blocks, just waiting for the okay to step up and get their teams situated. We are presented this year on CVC TV, bringing you all of these live stream of student athletics in the Chagrin Valley Conference by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Doctors Keith Schneider, Don Lewis, Jill Weber, and Jacqueline Tomsick specialize in dental surgery, implants, corrective jaw and facial surgery, and trauma reconstruction. For all your oral surgery needs, visit the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery website at www.oh8surgery.com. Once again, that is www.oh8surgery.com, and you will hear that plenty of times throughout the evening. We want to take this initial opportunity right now, before we get things started with the boys program, to thank them for all of their support. Thank all of you for tuning in tonight on ChagrinValleyConference.com or to the CVC YouTube page tonight. And we are so proud and honored to be able to bring this event to you, knowing that based on protocols from the Ohio High School Athletic Association at swim meets this year, while they are able to have a season, and so proud of these student athletes for being able to have that season this year, and that is definitely an accomplishment within itself. There are no spectators allowed in at these swim meets, so want to make sure that all family, friends, supporter of student athletics are able to bring this to you here tonight. And we will kind of go through, give you some background on some of these events as we go through. If you're just tuning in to us here tonight, if you were here with us during the girls program, you probably heard some of it earlier on. And then at other points, we're just going to have the focus be where it should, inside the pool, on the student athletes, especially with some of maybe the longer events, and have some commentary going on behind the scenes. But you don't need to hear my voice all night long. Want to make sure the action in the pool is the main focus, and that is what we are here to do here tonight. As I said, we are about to get things started. They are getting the timers situated behind the blocks. And if you are just tuning in from and did not see the girls program earlier on this evening, the way the lanes work, there are 6 lanes here at Orange High School. The lanes will be 1 through 6 from far side to near side as you view it through your TV or device screen. And the official blows the whistle that the first heat of the first boys event here tonight is about to get started. It is the 200-yard medley relay. Each time the starter is ready to get the event going, we will silence ourselves as we're supposed to, allow the starter to get things going, and then we will give you the lane assignments and all the information from there. And the boys program is officially underway here, as we said, starting at 7:30. And this is the first of 2 heats of the 200-yard medley relay. This is a 25-yard pool. Takes 4 laps for every 100-yard event. So there will be 8 laps in this event, but each swimmer in this relay will only swim 2. In heat 1, in lane 2, will be Lakeside's Team B. In lane 3, Geneva they have Darren Lindbergh in the pool now. He is about to hand it off to Shane Brody. Noah Johnson will be 3rd, and Zachary Reese will be the anchor leg. West Yaga in lane 4. Ryder Frankman started things off. He just passed it off to Sam Patterson, who is swimming the breaststroke. Grant Congdon is going to be next up for West Yaga, and their anchor leg swimming the freestyle will be Michael Elias, a senior for West Yaga in their B relay. So some of these schools will put 2 relays in, and as they go through the postseason events, they will kind of look at the individual times for their leg of the relay and kind of piece one together as they get closer and try to make it to the state meet later on in this winter season. Each swimmer is swimming 2 laps of the pool. Each swimmer is designated one particular stroke discipline in this event. Now, usually when you see the 200-yard IM as an individual event, they usually start off with the butterfly. But in this one, they start the initial swimmer on the backstroke to start in the pool. So then the rest of the swimmers will step up to the blocks, and they will go, it goes backstroke, breaststroke, then fly, then freestyle. The individual event is fly, backstroke, breaststroke, then freestyle. So you'll see that a little bit later on. And out early in this one, the final leg of the relays are now in the pool, and West Yaga's B squad is in the lead. Michael Elias trying to bring it home for his squad here to set the time. And we'll kind of talk about all night long how they're racing against clock as much as they're racing against other swimmers in the pool here tonight, as Elias will touch the wall and set the benchmark for this race down there in lane 4 at 2:20.89. And that's 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and 89 hundredths of a second. If you were watching earlier, some of these races can come down to hundredths of a second. So those touch pads inside the pool down here on our near side of the aquatic center will get these times situated. Geneva came in with a time of 2:28.14, and Lakeside 2:40.61 in the initial heat. Get the second heat going in just a moment.
Heat 2, final heat.
And heat number 2 is underway as well, and we'll give you the lane assignments always from far end of the pool to near side of the pool as you're viewing it through your screens. And we have, it's Geneva, Lakeside, Orange, and West Yaga. For Geneva, Matthew Corver in the pool now, swimming 50 yards of backstroke. Then he will hand things off to Sam Baker, and Justin Hanna, and followed up by Caden Collins. Lakeside, lane 3. Again, the heat sheets we were given do not have their lane assignments. I believe those were put in at the last moment, so we will try our best to listen to the PA announcer as the night goes on for some of these relays. For Lakeside, Want to make sure all of these student athletes who don't get a chance to be on TV have their accomplishments shown on TV often, get represented as best as possible, but we have no assignments for them in lane 3. Lane 4 with second swimmers in the pool. Orange started with Xander Kaku, and now in the pool, Thomas Kakulev, and he's handing it off to Alan Gobolitsky, and Lawson Blazer will finish things off. And West Geauga in lane 5, Joshua Burdecki and Davis Carson were just in the pool. West Geauga now has Ethan Colt swimming 50 yards a fly, and he will finish things off. Once he touches the wall, Aiden Vargo will hop off the blocks for the final leg of freestyle. As out front in this one is down there in lane 4, that is the team of Orange, feeling comfortable already in their home pool. And as Lawson Blazer gets in the pool, he is trying to make a statement early for Orange and get them off to a hot start and put a stamp on the time they put up on the board as they're trying to get under that 2-minute mark. Looks like they will come up just shy of that, but as he races for the wall trying to touch, he does get in under 2 minutes. 1:59.46 for Orange. West G coming in slightly behind them. And lane 6 at 2:06.91. Just out touching Geneva up there in lane 2 at 2:08.80. And finishing things off, Lakeside's A-team, 2:13.75. So fast times being put out there for the rest of the Chagrin division to look at. As the official tells the last swimmers to stay in the water before we move on to the next event in order to keep social distance so they're not getting out as the other swimmers are stepping up to the blocks. Keep them in the pool, allow them to start this next event, and then they will be allowed to get out of the pool to keep all of these student athletes as safe as possible. There's Lakeside getting their representative in this heat going. And fair start there for Heat 1 of 2 of the boys' 200-yard freestyle individual event. So now there will be 8 laps of this pool swam, but they will be all swam by each individual that is in the pool right now. So in Heat 1, we have 3 representatives from West Geauga. Up there in lane 2, Andrew Elias, Ryder Frankman in lane 3, and Gabe Grizez in lane 4. And then Michael Palchel from Lakeside in lane number 5. So they will, like we said, they will each swim one swimming discipline, the freestyle, for all 8 laps of this one. Key to this one, the first 4 laps, we talked about earlier, you really want to pace yourself, try to stride it out, use your legs, use your arms to kind of get that motion going, and once you turn to that second half of the race, really start to kick things in, get those arms moving a little bit faster with that same pulling motion under the water and skimming right across the top. You don't want to get yourself too deep in the water, pulling yourself under. You want to stay right across the top, as all 4 of these athletes are doing a tremendous job of in this event, and you'll hear the coaches on the side. They'll be yelling instructions out every time their athlete may breathe to this side, or anytime they feel like they can get in eyesight of them, and they have these certain cues that their athletes will understand on how they can improve. It's very difficult when you're in a sport like swimming to make mid-swim adjustments. That's why those cues, the communication between coach and athlete in the pool, they've worked on that throughout the season, and having that great rapport with these student athletes just makes that go so much more smoothly, and these athletes can take that coaching, make those adjustments, and put out their best effort and put up a great time up there on the board right across from us. And coming in to touch the wall first to be the heat winner of Heat 1, Ryder Frankman of West Geauga, followed by his teammate Gabe Grisez. And then battle for third coming up here between West Geauga's Andrew Elias and Michael Palchel up there in lane 2 and 5 as they come left to right across your screen. Winning time of that heat for Frankman was 2:37.58, and second place was 2:46.08. So the next 6 swimmers that you see just about ready to hop up on the blocks when they're instructed, they'll look at those times. They know what they have to get, and they also know what time they may have to get to try to get a conference championship. And we'll explain how that's all going to work as we go through this program. Heat 2 in the pool. All 6 lanes occupied. Thurston Shaw from Lakeside up there in lane 1. Noah Johnson and Justin Hanna, both of Geneva, in 2 and 3 respectively. Alan Gobeliski of Orange in lane 4. In lane 5 from Lakeside, Michael Mikhalich. And in lane 6, Davis Carson of West Geauga. Looks like Gobeliski has the early advantage in this one, just 2 laps into this 8-lap event. And he's trying to pace themselves, but there's a little bit more sense of urgency as you kind of see earlier on in this one than in the last heat. Heat 1 kind of gets the advantage. They get to set the time. These are the guys that have to chase it. Halfway home, and Gobeliski has still a couple body length lead over his teammate there in lane 3, Justin Hanna, actually from Geneva, Justin Hanna, my apologies. And as he makes this final turn for Gobeliski, he's going to look, as he goes underwater, he's going to see where his competition is. Not that he's looking behind him, but he's going to see what that competition is and know exactly how much he may need to feel. He needs to distance himself to feel much more comfortable, but right now he is well in the lead, and at this point it is a race against that clock to be the heat winner, but also set the fastest time in the entire Chagrin division. And he will touch the wall at 2:07.02. A fantastic swim there for Gobeliski. He came in with they seed time kind of right around his average throughout the season. Coach put him in at generally around that 2:10 mark. So not sure if the 2:07, we won't have their personal best here this evening, but definitely able to crack that 2:10 mark, and I'm sure he's got to be happy about that, looking up there at that board. Some other times coming in, 2:13.44 for Hanna, and 2:22.93 down there for the third place finisher in this heat. Up there in lane 2, Noah Johnson of Geneva.
Event 6, boys 200-yard individual medley, heat 1 and 1.
So event 6, third event for the boys, the 200-yard IM. We talked about this during the medley relay. Now it is up to these swimmers in the pool to swim all 4 disciplines, the butterfly, the backstroke, the breaststroke, and the freestyle. 2 laps of each, but they are responsible for all 8 of those laps in this event. And we will only have 1 heat here this evening. So if you're used to watching a swim meet and being out there, whether during the summer at the club events or here during the high school season, and kind of the meets taken all day long, with under COVID protocol, you can't have too many people in the aquatic center at one time, and got to make sure that these student athletes stay safe. So they separated the girls and boys during this particular CVC meet. And so they're just going to try to rattle off as many as possible, give these boys a break in the middle to kind of cool down and get a bit of a rest. And then they'll finish off the last 6 events as well, and we'll go through all of that as we proceed. But I want to get to the lane assignments here and let you know who is in the pool. Grant Congdon from West G up in there in lane 1. Ethan Culp, lane 2 from West G. Thomas Kekulev from Orange in lane 3. Matthew Corver and Noah Griffiths in lane 4 and 5 from Geneva. And Ryan Hanalemi from Lakeside down here in lane 6. And with the lead in this heat from Orange is Thomas Kekulev. It's like a freshman for Orange who is out front in this only heat. And if you look on your screen there, if you see an official raise their hand, they may have seen something that would cause a review or a discussion of a possible disqualification, which always is a difficult thing to see pop up there on the board, but something they need to discuss. We will still give you the athletes' times, and we will let the disqualification elements situate themselves as Kekulev comes in first in this event here this evening, time of 2:18.73. And we'll see the race for second coming down to lane 4. Matthew Corver of Geneva coming in, touching the wall, 2:49.18. And see who out-touched one another for third place. Looked like lane 6, 2:53.40, and then 2:53.43 up there in lane 2. 0.03 of a second separating third and fourth in that heat. So these athletes will stay in the water, and the boys for the next event, which will be a 3-heat event, but it is going to go very quick. So eyes peeled, front edge of your seats, ladies and gentlemen, because the 50-yard freestyle is going to happen in a blur as we go through these heats. As there's a little bit more instruction here after the 200-yard IM, the official explaining to the student athlete down there, I believe in lane 2, Ethan Culp, of a possible disqualification, what they saw, what they were looking at during that element. And while I never want to see the disqualification, these officials do a great job of communicating with these student athletes and also kind of being an extension of the coaching staff to explain what they can do better the next time. So heat 1 of event 8, the 50-yard freestyle in the pool. 3 swimmers here. Michael Elias of West G in lane 2. Adrian Capuz of Orange in lane 3. And Aiden Dondero of West Geauga here in lane 4. As they make the turn for home. Looks like it's going to be a race as up there in lane 2, Michael Elias pulling away here at the end, trying to set that time, and he will out-touch Adrian Capuz, and Michael Elias will take this heat up there in lane 2, 31 seconds, 0.23 of a second. So, like I said, as we go through, if these times get faster, you're going to see a blur out there on your screens. All 6 lanes full in heat 2. Joseph Vacaret of Lakeside in lane 1. Zachary Reese of Geneva in lane 2. Stefan Laketon in lane 3 of Geneva. Holden Perodo of Orange in lane 4. Aiden Vargo, West G. And Matthew Valenti of West G in 5 and 6 respectively. It's going to come down to who can touch first, and Geneva, lane 3. Stefan Likington able to out-touch Holden Perdue at 28-20. So new benchmark set here in Heat 2. And Heat 3 quickly up on the blocks. So in lane 1, Eric Nilsson of Orange, Lawson Blazier of Orange in lane 2, Daniel Garcia of Lakeside in lane 3, Caden Collins of Geneva in lane 4, Cooper Craig in lane 5, and Cody Jenkins of Lakeside in lane 6. Cooper Craig from the Geneva Eagles. And as those arms start going, those legs touching, 2 and 3 are dead heat. Who out-touched who? 1 will go to lane 2. The heat winner, Lawson Blazier, 25-85, just out-touching by 1/10 of a second. His comrade, Daniel Garcia of Lakeside in lane 3 at 25-95. And that is how quickly it can happen, folks. All comes down to the touch. You got the timers behind the blocks to get some backup times in case the pad in the pool goes out. But if you can out-touch your opponent, even if you're in a dead heat, it all comes down to who's going to shorten up that last stroke or extend, give a lengthy extension to the wall. Who can out-touch who? We mentioned the example earlier when Michael Phelps won the 100-meter butterfly in the Olympics by 1/100th of a second. Heard that right, folks. 1/100th of a second. Separated gold and silver, aiding in Michael Phelps being the most decorated Olympian of all time. And I know a lot of these student athletes, as we're about to take a break here, they look up to all of those athletes that are in the Olympics. And it's one thing it's a goal for all of these athletes in any sport that they are passionate about to get to the highest peak. And we know that in the sport of swimming, the highest peak is that gold medal on the Olympic stage every 4 years. And hopefully we're able to have our Olympics that we were supposed to have last year, this year. We are going to step aside for just a brief moment while these athletes get a brief cool down, a chance to stretch their legs, stretch the bodies, and get set for the second half of the event. You are tuned in to CVC TV's presentation of the Chagrin Valley Conference, Day 3 of the Chagrin Valley Conference Swimming Championships here from Orange High School. We will be back in just a few short moments and get you all set for the second half of the boys program. Welcome back inside Orange High School's Aquatic Center. Kevin Arnold alongside Peter Telep and Mike Ross, bringing you day 3 of the CVC Swimming Conference Championships, involving 4 members of the Chagrin Division, from representatives from Ashtabula, Lakeside, Geneva, West Geauga, and Orange High School, as we allow this next event to get started and get things going once again. So in the pool now is event 12, boys 100-yard butterfly, 4 laps of the pool, 1 swimming discipline, the butterfly. Ryan Hanalami from Lakeside up there in lane 2, Ethan Culp, lane 3 from West Geauga, and Thurston Shaw from Lakeside down there in lane 4. Like I said, getting things back going for the boys program. This will be the second half of their program and the end of the evening as we go through the final 8 events, as they kind of took a break after 4 with that longer relay to start things out. They did the same thing, just made the decision to do the same thing earlier on with the girls program as well. And of course, we are bringing you this live stream tonight. Want to thank everybody that has tuned in at various times or just tuning in now to our event here tonight. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, the Ohio Center for Oral Facial and Implant Surgery, being this year's title sponsor for CVC TV. Their practice will diagnose and treat facial pain and injuries, and also offer a full range of dental implants and bone grafting procedures. Look no further than the Ohio Center for Oral Facial and Implant Surgery for all your oral surgery and cosmetic surgery needs. Please visit their website at www.ohsurgery.com. That's www.ohsurgery.com. Heat winner in Heat 1, Ethan Culp down there in lane 3 with a time of 1:16:15 in Heat 1 of 2. Heat 2, waiting the official's whistle to be able to step up on the blocks, as those that just swam will wait to exit the pool, keep their distance, and grab their masks to go back to their team designated area. And 5 swimmers in this heat. Tomas Kakulev in lane 1, Alan Golubiski in lane 2 from Orange, Joshua Burdecki from West Geauga in lane 3, Daniel Garcia from Lakeside in lane 4, and Justin Hanna from Geneva in lane 5. And tighter race here, 4 laps of the pool like we said. Key here in this event is to gotta keep those feet as they're kicking behind you, almost like a dolphin. Gotta keep those feet together. They cannot come apart or look like a scissor kick as you see in the freestyle. The legs must work in tandem, and that is what the officials are looking at. And there is no flip turn here. When you get to the wall, it's 2 hands on the wall and turn yourself, more of a standardized turn rather than the flip turn you'll see in backstroke and freestyle. And this event, Heat 2, is going to come down to the touch. A long stride up there in lane 1, and able to still out-touch lane 3. Getting the heat win was Tomas Kakulev from Orange with a time of 1:04:98. And looks like we have a dead heat there, so it could come down to the timers behind the block. So it was actually a dead even heat. That long final stroke, that glide into the wall by Tomas, allowed in lane 3 Joshua Burdecki to kind of take a shorter stroke, tie him up right at the wall. So we'll see which person may get the edge there in the overall standings. We'll wait the final swimmer to get ready here as we transition to event 14. So the event 14, the boys 100-yard freestyle. 3 swimmers in the pool for heat 1 of 3, our final 3 heat event of the evening of the program. Andrew Elias of West G in lane 2, Michael Spire of West Geauga in lane 3, and Matthew Serbella of Lakeside down there in lane 4. Again, another 100-yard event. 4 laps of this 25-yard pool here at Orange High School. And halfway through the event, up there in lane 2, Elias having the early edge, being chased down a couple lanes away. Matthew Serbella, who is breathing to that side so he can see exactly where Elias is in this event, as Serbella will actually change things up and breathe to both sides. You'll see some swimmers in the freestyle breathe just to one side, breathe to both sides, or especially in a faster event like we saw the 50-yard freestyle earlier, there will not be many breaths taken as the focus is on the stroke, on each individual skill, getting the legs going, getting the arms going, and going as fast as possible. And Andrew Elias able to get this heat win up there in lane 2 at 1:21.99, followed closely by Matthew Serbella with a time of 1:23.34. Full pull for heat 2 of 3. Now Michael Elias gets his opportunity in the pool up there in lane 1. Aiden Vargo in lane 2 from West Geauga. Eric Nilsson of Orange here in lane 3. Michael Mikhalich of Lakeside, lane 4. Lane 5, Geneva's Sam Baker. And lane 6, Michael Pochel of Lakeside in the near lane. And Eric Nilsson out to a fast start here, hitting the wall at 29.73 was his split for the first 50. And he's going to look to try to close in on that split, have a faster split coming home. That's what these coaches will talk to these athletes about, especially when you have a longer race. They're going to look at those 50-yard splits and some of these 100, 200-yard distances, and they want you to come back faster than you went out with that second 50. And Eric Nilsson gets the win in this heat, 1:01.67. As he kind of shakes his head in frustration a little bit. May have been looking to crack that minute mark here this evening, but still a great performance put on there in heat 2, and a time that each one of the swimmers here in heat 3 have been looking up at that board closely and mentally preparing to go after that and try to break a minute on their own. So heat 3 in the pool, Cooper Craig of Geneva in lane 1, Cody Jenkins, lane 2 from Lakeside, Xander Kaku of Orange in lane 3, and his teammate who won had the fastest time in the 50-yard freestyle earlier, Lawson Blazier of Orange in lane 4, Darren Lindberg of Geneva lane 5, Holden Perdue of Orange here in lane 6. And right now that race is right there in the center of the pool as Xander Kaku and Lawson Blazier going at it. And this time around, they're both breathing to either side, so they know where each other is, and it's going to come down to this last 25 yards, who can get off to the best start off that wall. And a great turn there by Kaku, but Blazier coming on at the end as he starts spinning those wheels trying to get to that wall, and he will outtouch Kaku. Lawson Blazier gets another heat win and sets the fastest time, in, just like he did in the 50-yard freestyle here in the 100-yard freestyle at 57.52. A great race there, and Kaku putting in a great performance of his own at 58.31. So as they get this next heat up, give you those assignments in just one moment. We are going quick, folks, between these events, but this one will be the longest one of the evening. It is the 500-yard freestyle, 20 laps of the pool. And as you see on the left side of your screen, as the camera pans over each time, down on that end, the far end, you will see a representative from each school with a board. We explained this earlier, but if you're just joining us now, they will have a board to let their swimmer know what odd number lap that they are on when they hit that wall to help them keep count as part of the 20 laps. When they get down to the final one, instead of it showing 19, it'll show 2 red pieces of tape where the numbers should be to let them know they are flip turning and heading for lap number 20 to finish out the race. Only one heat of this 500 freestyle, as we are about to hit that 100-yard mark in just a few moments. Aiden Dondero up there for West G in lane 2. Noah Johnson, who is out in front in lane 3, is from Geneva, and he has his teammate flanked alongside him, Shane Brody of Geneva as well. Just like we talked about with the 200-yard freestyle, while in the winter months when they are going more so 25-yard pools instead of 50-meter pools when they get to outdoor and summer club events, while these longer races tend to go a little bit faster with this somewhat shorter distance, it is still taxing on the body and the mind, and these coaches have done a great job. These athletes have done a great job, even in a pandemic era, of keeping themselves in shape. So they're going to try to pace themselves while trying to attain certain times. They're going 50 by 50 by 50 times, sometimes 100 by 100 in this 500-yard freestyle. You want that second one, that next one, to be faster. And these coaches, with those signals we talked about earlier in the broadcast as well, letting their student athletes know exactly where they're at in the race and time and what they may need to do to get to the goal time they may have set or the performance they wanted to come out of this night with by the time the event ends. So 200 yards into this one, and Noah Johnson still with the early lead. Kind of put the attention on these 3 student athletes who are going to do everything in their power. And some of these athletes are going to be a part of some of the shorter races we're still going to see coming up here in just a little bit. So trying to balance setting the best time for themselves in the conference while still having enough energy left to finish out the meet strong for themselves and their team as well. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. Again, Kevin Arnold here on the call alongside my great production crew. Can't do any of this without them. Peter Tellup and Mike Ross on the camera, making me sound good, bringing all of the action to you. And trust me, making me sound just okay is a job within itself. So can't do anything without them. Many thanks to them. Many thanks to all of you out there tuning in tonight. We know we wish all of you, and you wish you could be here. The energy at swim meets, from my experience as a swimmer in the past, the energy that you feel in the pool when the crowd is going nuts and as you're getting closer to the end of each event is a sight in itself. People that aren't accustomed to the sport of swimming, if you haven't witnessed a live swimming meet at its peak when everybody can be here, something, if you're a sports fan, if you get an opportunity to check that out, definitely do so once the pandemic is over. But family, friends, and people passionate about the sport of swimming, anyone who is tuning in tonight, if it's from others, people from other schools kind of checking out and seeing what times these swimmers are putting up tonight to see what performance may have to be put in tomorrow in day 4 or what may have been put in on day 2, the swimming championships out of Beechwood on Saturday, where Edgewood was one of those Chagrin Division members. Anyone who is tuned in tonight, we thank you so much for tuning into CVC TV, ChagrinValleyConference.com, or the YouTube page. for this event this evening. So 15 laps in for the leader of this event right now, Noah Johnson. Just past the 5 minute mark in this race. As one of the members of the girls team who was here earlier today, down there on the far end, counting out the laps, he will see he is hitting the wall at lap 17, so he knows just a couple more turns of the wall and he'll be turning for home. And you will hear the official come behind his block to ring the bell to let him know the last 2 laps. He is on his way towards his last 2 laps to finish out this race, and no quit in any of these athletes in the pool right now. But Noah Johnson is he is in his own zone right now because he knows whatever that time says up on the clock when he finishes is going to determine what kind of conference placing, postseason seeding he can obtain once this race and these 4 days of the conference meet are all said and done. And he will touch home at 6:34.50. Noah Johnson, your heat and event winner here tonight. Again, we don't know who the conference champions will be, but top 2 times across the Chagrin division will receive all conference honors. And of course, then the teams will kind of be given points once they figure out all the times from the relays, the individual events moving forward, as we have a couple athletes still finishing up their race. And fellow teammate Shane Brody from Geneva, a time of 7:14.10 as he comes in. So looking at how they dole out the points, just to kind of give you a background on what it's going to look like once they get all the times from the Chagrin division accumulated with all of these events. Relay events, they will go based on, the first team will get 40 points, second 34, third place 32, and then they will dole out points thereon after for the rest of the amount of teams involved. And then individual events, top 3 places, 20 points, 17 points, and 16 points given to that school. And then, of course, the top point getter from one of these school, whichever school out of the Chagrin division gets the most points, will be the team conference champion as well and put themselves in a great position for the postseason events, as Aiden Dondero finishes up his race at 8:26.73, and you saw great sportsmanship. We saw it earlier with the girls race, same thing with the boys race here. All the rest of the athletes that are not in the 500-yard freestyle event know how taxing that event can be, and they are all cheering on everyone, whether they are from that school or not, cheering them on, and you love to see that kind of sportsmanship on full display at these athletic events. Well, they get this relay, the boys 200-yard freestyle relay situated. Want to let you know that on Friday, the diving championships were held all on the same day, and the division, the winners of that, Hawkins senior Angus Williams and Chagrin Falls freshman Samantha Holt, both won the 2021 Chagrin Valley Conference diving titles over at Beechwood. So, and Williams, the defending state runner-up, it was his second straight crown in the conference, second straight conference championship, and I know he's looking for that state championship as the season gets down to that point. Seth Warner of Beechwood, another great performance there in the boys event, was in second place, and Chagrin Falls' Keanu Sherman, the third place finisher.
Yard Freestyle Relay 1-1.
Let this the now it looks like the 200-yard freestyle relay that was scheduled to be 2 heats. Looks like it's going to be just 1 heat. They put them all together. One of the B squads from one of the schools may have dropped out.
Lane 3, Lakeside's A team of Daniel Garcia.
So Lakeside just heard announced in lane 3, trying to get situated. Who's in which lane? Geneva up in lane 1, Orange in lane 2, Geneva A in lane 4, West Geauga A in 5, West Geauga B in 6.
Lane 5, West G's A team of Aiden Dondero, Aiden Dondero, and Joshua Bervecki.
So it looks like Geneva had 3 teams originally scheduled for this evening, an A, B, and C team, but they decided to drop down to just an A and a B. So each swimmer responsible for 2 laps of the pool. As they kind of change things up a little bit, just kind of keep you abreast of what is the teams out in front. Geneva A down here in lane 4 out in front, as they have a body and a half length lead. West Geauga A, Orange A, and Lakeside A all in the pool at the same time, trying to chase them down. West Geauga making a push here at the end. Looks like we are on the anchor legs for these squads. So it's going to come down to Geneva and West G. And Geneva, I believe that is Caden Collins down there in lane 4 as the anchor leg for Geneva. Gets the heat win and sets the benchmark for the Chagrin division at 1:50.90 in the 200-yard freestyle relay here this evening. And while this one finishes up, just to finish up our diving conversation, the freshman from Chagrin Falls, Samantha Holt, she actually beat her teammate and defending champion in the CVC, Kate LaMonica. LaMonica was second, of course, and then Hawkins Ariana Khan placed third in the event. So, Kate LaMonica, Ariana Khan, both of them were actually returning state qualifiers. So I know that they're looking to get back there in a few short weeks. And we are on event 20 of this program of the evening, boys 100-yard backstroke. Going to have 2 heats here tonight. Matthew Valenti from West Geauga will be up there in lane 2. Ryder Frankman, West G, lane 3. Gabe Grizez, West G, lane 4. Matthew Sorbella, lane 4 here, or lane 5, excuse me, in heat number 1. And we are just flying through. As you kind of see, it's still an adjustment for these athletes in the pool for them to kind of get used to the fact that there is not a lot of time, if any, between these events. So if they're in a relay, if they're in a freestyle event and backstroke's coming up right after, they got to jump right back in the pool. But that just shows how mentally tough these athletes have conditioned themselves to be focused, be ready to get back in the pool immediately after a race and possibly of a different swimming discipline in the pool that each of the 4 strokes have their own impact on the body. So to see these athletes, student athletes, able to get back in the pool so quickly when they're so used to such a different format. And lane 3 getting the Ryder Frankman of West Geauga able to get the heat win there. Like we said, the mental toughness these student athletes have shown all day long is something to be admired, something to be applauded, something to be celebrated, especially when we can all get together and celebrate accomplishments, hopefully sooner rather than later. So Heat 2 about to step into the pool. Of course, with this event starting inside the pool, those that were in, this is the only one where you will see the previous heat get out for the next heat or next event is set to start. So all 6 lanes being used in Heat 2 of the 100-yard backstroke. Zachary Reese, Geneva up there in lane 1. Matthew Corver, Geneva Eagles, lane 2. Joshua Burdecki, West Geauga, lane 3. Caden Collins, Geneva, lane 4. Darren Lindbergh, Geneva, lane 5. And Joseph Varquette of Lakeside here in lane 6. And halfway home, here in lane 4, Caden Collins, Geneva with the early lead, but a great underwater move in lane 3 from West Geauga by Joshua Burdecki to give himself a chance as they are going to come off this final turn. As Collins will turn, he will see where his 2 competitors are. And another nice job there by Burdecki of West G to come up, but it is Caden Collins in control from the beginning and looking to get into the wall, set a fast time up there on the board, 1:09.28. And second and third, just a few tenths of a second, splitting up lane 3 and lane 2. Down there in lane 3 in second, Joshua Burdecki was making a charge at the end, 1:12.54. And in third, Matthew Corver, 1:12.97. So 33 hundredths of a second separating those two in that event. So we got 2 events left here this evening, event 22 and event 24. So now you're going to see the breaststroke edition of the 100-yard race here this evening. This is event 22 in the program, but event 11 for these boys here this evening. Get you the names of these 3 swimmers. Up there, lane 2, Noah Griffith from Geneva. Orange, Adrian Capuz. Lane 3, Michael Spire of West Geauga. Lane 4. We kind of explained the discipline of breaststroke a little bit earlier during the girls program, but you're kind of seeing the different approaches that you see to, and they're very subtle, but the different approaches to how to swim this event. And leading this heat, Michael Spire kind of has that head will barely dip into the water and quickly come back up. So a quick motions with the arms and the legs, all working in tandem. Up there in lane 2, you see more of that dip of the head into the pool and trying to really extend those arms, extend that frog kick to pull as much water out from in front of them. To just cut through it, cut across the top, basically as you see a frog do. But this time, the Michael Spire, his race able to get him first place in this heat at 1:29.71 as he gets a thumbs up and a congratulations from his team and his coaching staff from the side, and he acknowledges them with a thumbs up as well. Noah Griffiths 1:35.56 and Adrian Capuz of Orange 1:44.64. So the final heat of the last individual event of Conference Championships about to hit the water. So heat 2, Shane Brody of Geneva up there in lane 1. Davis Carson, West Geauga, lane 2. From Geneva, Sam Baker, lane 3. Grant Cogden of West Geauga in lane 4. In lane 5, Stefan Lakenton of Geneva. And Sam Patterson rounds out the field from West Geauga down here in lane 6. Halfway home, and Grant Congdon of West Geauga with the early lead. And you see that same kind of approach as you saw from his teammate Michael Spire, that quick head into the water and right back out. Arms going, legs going, getting through each motion as quick as possible. And West Geauga has had success with that in this event here tonight. And he's Congdon charging home, trying to break that 120 mark. It's going to come down to the touch on the wall and just over the 120 mark. 121.01 for the heat win here. And second place, his teammate up there in lane 2, Davis Carson, 128.22. And in third place in that heat with a time of 129.90, Stefan Lakenton here in lane 5 from Geneva.
Event 24, boys 400-yard freestyle relay, heat 1 winner.
So we got one final event, and this is the test to end the evening. 400-yard freestyle relay. We had the 200-yard freestyle relay earlier. Each swimmer only had to swim 2 laps of the pool. This time, 4 laps of the pool for each swimmer, as the official allows this only heat to step up on the blocks to get them going. And they are in the pool, and we have West Geauga's A-team, Gay Grisez, Andrew Elias, Michael Spire, Matthew Valenti up there in lane 1. Geneva, Team A, Noah Johnson, Matthew Corver, Cooper Craig, Darren Lindberg in lane 2. Orange puts their A-team up there in lane 3 with Tomas Kakulev leading things off. Alan Golubitsky second, Lawson Blazier, who has the heat win in the 50 and 100-yard freestyle individually. And then Xander Kaku, who has been racing all night long. Now they get to race together. One after the other will be their anchor leg. Lakeside's A-team down here in lane 4. And West Geauga, and my apologies, West Geauga's B-team up there in 1. Their A-team is made up of Davis Carson, Grant Cogden, Aiden Dondero, and Michael Elias. So as Orange gets their second swimmer, Alan Golubitsky, in the water, as they have created a commanding lead early in this 400-yard freestyle relay. Want to remind you of our sponsor of CVC TV. Thank them one last time before we finally sign off here this evening, and that is the team over there. You know it, you've heard it. We can't thank them enough. The Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Check them out with all of their great doctors. Keith Schneider, Don Lewis, Jill Weber, Jacqueline Tomsick. They have done a lot to support the student athletes of the various sports, whether fall, winter, to try to get them as much exposure as possible, allow people at home to watch as safely as possible, and still support the work these student athletes are doing. Over there at the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery, you're wondering what they do? Well, they specialize in dental surgery, implants, corrective jaw and facial surgery, and trauma reconstruction. For all those oral surgery needs and even your cosmetic surgery needs, visit the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery website. You've heard it, and I'll say it a bunch of times, and on every broadcast I'm on, I'll say it a bunch of times more. It is www.oasurgery.com. That is www.oasurgery.com. Thank you so much to everyone over there for supporting what these student athletes are doing. Thank you to everybody out there that tuned in here this evening. And we got a wild one to finish things up, as Orange is Men on a mission in the pool right now. They may see how big of a lead they have, but there is no stopping Lawson Blazier in the pool before he hands it off to Xander Kaku, because they know times in the Chagrin Division in this event, being the last one, are going to be tough. They're going to be heated, and they're trying to put up and earn their claim to staying on the A-team, to winning a conference title and possibly district and state titles down the line. And a great turn there by Kaku. Great underwater work to kind of allow himself to work into this race at the halfway point, not having to use too much energy, too many strokes into the wall. And now he's going to kick it in for a 50-yard sprint, racing against that clock as we have gone past the 3:30 mark in this event. And one final lap of the pool for the swimmers from Orange, and the swimmer in the pool, Xander Kaku, as he is charging into the wall, trying to beat that 4-minute mark, and he will at 3:56.17. That is the mark to beat that they will put up to try to beat there in the Chagrin Division, as there will be one more day tomorrow, and we'll make sure we let you know which schools are involved before we sign off here this evening. And looks like Geneva and Lakeside trying to battle for that second place finish. As the men from Orange admire their work, and Geneva and West Geauga actually up there in lane 1, a battle there in 1 and 2. Oh, my apologies. West Geauga still with one more swimmer to go, but Geneva able to take second place at 4:32.19. As Lakeside's A-team will finish in third, and good sign of sportsmanship there from Kaku, still sitting there in lane 3 to compadre there from Lakeside in lane 4. Their time of 5:13.26 will give them third place in the heat. As the times kind of tick down here, West Geauga A and B teams finish up with the time of 5:21.93 and 5:44.16, lane 5 and lane 1 respectively, to finish out the evening. So that is going to wrap it up for day 3 of the Chagrin Valley Conference Swimming Championships here from Orange High School. Of course, as we said, day 4, the final day of the Swimming and Diving Championships for the CVC, will take place tomorrow out at Hawken. They will have their own stream, so be looking out for that through their social media sites and other information there. They will have the teams from Chagrin Falls, Kirtland, Wickliffe, and of course the host Hawken. 5 p.m. the swimming begins, and you can even get a link to the heat sheets already, and the live stream is up there on the Chagrin Valley Conference Facebook page and on chagrinvalleyconference.com with the story from a couple days ago about this setup. So the teams from the Chagrin Division: Chagrin Falls, Edgewood, Geneva, Hawken, Lakeside, Orange, and West Geauga. And we saw 4 of those teams here tonight, all battling to win a conference championship as a team, individuals battling for conference bragging rights themselves. And what an event we saw here tonight as they quickly tear down the pool. And just before we bid you adieu here this evening, I want to thank our sponsor, the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery, one more time. Thank you to our camera operator, Mike Ross, and of course, producer of the evening behind the scenes. I always call him the producer extraordinaire behind the proverbial glass, Peter Tellup. I'm Kevin Arnold, hoping all of you enjoyed the events here tonight. And good luck to all of these student athletes moving forward, all the student athletes yet to swim in the conference championships. But until next time here on CVC TV, Kevin Arnold signing off, wishing you all the best of evenings. Stay safe out there and have a pleasant tomorrow.